I'm currently very close to finishing preparing a configuration bundle that is going to deploy intertwingler live on the internet. Now, this is an application server that I've been working on 2 years, 7 years, 17 years, 20 years, depending on how you count. And it is finally going to go live. Now, it's not going to go completely live because I haven't done a bunch of stuff that's needed to let it handle the kind of traffic it's going to get out on the open internet, but I think this is going to motivate me to get that written. But the fiddly bits, the kind of stuff that, the actual getting it online part is the part that I'm working on. Now, what motivated this is actually something else, which is, since the application server is middleware, there's actually stuff running on it. And in this case, there's this other tool called Sense Atlas, which is a planning tool for projects and resources and all sorts of other stuff. And there's a sort of a recursive irony to this that has been really kind of like gnawing at me, because this tool is exactly the thing that would be really, really useful for planning the development of this tool, and of course the application server that's underneath it. So there's been this sort of irony that has been sort of pervading this process. That's really kind of funny. But this has sort of got me thinking about like a philosophical sort of situation of like what is a goal versus a task. I was just sort of writing a write-up, just sort of having to collect my own thoughts about it. And I had written just about a bunch of notes, and I was like, well, I'll put like a little preamble on this. And I start with the preamble, like, the goal of this is to do, and then like, oh no, wait a second. Then I move up one line. The goal is to do, and then no, move up one line. So I did this about 5 times until I actually got down to the actual goal of what I was looking at. Again, this is sort of what the tool is supposed to model. And if you want to see the tool, I've done other videos of it. I will attach one here. But the sort of the overarching sort of issue is why I am deploying intertwingler now, because it's been sitting on my laptop for eons, and probably like a full year. It's been functional, for lack of a better term. It certainly worked. It hasn't had anything running on it. And so the last several months, I'm not exactly sure when, because putting hard boundaries on when I started and when I was working on other stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Getting Sense Atlas to work, I think it was about a month ago that I got it finally deployable, finally serviceable. But anyway, the situation, or I guess with like what is a goal, and is sort of like embroiled in what this is all about. Like, because what I want to be able to do, or what I need to be able to do, is get Sense Atlas online, because there's a component of it, which is the actual process modeling component, which is like how you're actually going to model the processes and the resources and so on, is something I invented. I did from scratch, more or less, and it's never been implemented because there was never anything to implement it on. And so I'm in the process of implementing, and what I want to be able to do, what I need to be able to do, is get it online for my client who wants to use it, so that we can actually I hate to use the word iterate, but this is actually an appropriate application of it. As quickly as possible. And so what that means is it needs to get online, like onto the routable internet, so that he can see and hit the same web page that I'm hitting and I'm seeing, and manipulate the same data. And the way you do that is you put it on the freaking internet. And this has entailed all sorts of other things, but then like there's other sorts of goals and tasks and whatever, that are sort of involved, and there's a sort of like a network, which is what this thing is designed to model, structure. And so, but like just to cover the sort of like the philosophical aspects of it, for, you know, as close to philosophical as you know, I don't know if it really qualifies, but it's, you know, more philosophical than engineering, that's for sure, is that if you have a goal, this is an Alan Cooperism, like there's a goal is a thing that you, like an outcome or a state of affairs that you actually want, and a task is the thing that you have to do to get the goal. So these are like two separate concepts. Now, we don't, I mean, at least I've observed that we don't really have like a very distinct modeling of this separation of concerns. You know, a goal is just a state. It's like an instant, like, is it satisfied or not? Yes or no. Whereas a task is a process. It's like an interval. It takes up time. And, you know, you do it and then you get the state, you know, at the end, hopefully. But then like the state of the outcome might not necessarily correspond exactly to your goal. So there's this sort of, you know, mismatch there that like is actually useful being modeled. But I mean, what I was interested in trying to solve, the problem I was initially interested in trying to solve, which is why I'm like, you know, could have been 2 years, could have been 7 years, could have been 17. Well, 17 years ago, I was trying to do cost estimates, or rather time estimates for software development. That's sort of what kicked off this entire sort of sojourn. And what I noticed is that in order to do a cost or a time estimate, you had to figure out what you actually had to do. And so there could be more than one way to go about doing something. And then again, that's going to get certain outcomes. There's going to be certain side effects to that, and so on and so forth. So you can't actually give the estimate until you've picked a strategy. So separating these two ideas of a qualitative, like, is this goal satisfied, binary, yes or no, and a quantitative, when is it going to be done, how much is it going to cost, etc. Separating those two was a very early conceptual distinction that I made. And so, again, it would be super nice to have this tool online so that I can use it to plan itself. But hopefully the next video that I dispatch here will be on the other side of it. Anyway, gonna finish my coffee.